Good evening, and welcome to day 2 of the Nordic Cup. We're getting ready to start the matches in just a moment. And we have quite the lineup today. So, let's get into it. Hope everyone's rested well. Might be an intense evening today, so some energy might be required. Okay. There we go. Alright, so if you didn't tune in yesterday, there's a little bit of an update, of course, after the matches. We have only 8 players remaining after the qualifier and 2 rounds of playing in the bracket. And our current matches are right here. I don't have a FEMS set up for this, but it's practical. So first we have Kopro, Klovny, Dumle and Dunste going against each other. That's going to be the first match in just a moment. And then we're going to have Sinks, Susui, Andy Baguette and Wildcard in the second semi-final. And then after that, the top 2 from each match will get into the grand final. So that is the plan. Nothing more complicated than that. Pretty sort of maybe expected names in the top 8 there. Kopro has all the world records. Maybe not anymore, but we can take a quick look. At least had all the world records. Oh, Sinks has gotten 1. Klovny has gotten 1. Does Kopro have any? Okay, there's 1. So Kopro still has 2 world records by a very small margin, to be fair. But 2 world records and 2 top 2s as well. However, Sinks, the world record holder on code here, was able to win the qualifier. Not by a lot, but still was able to win, and has also made it all the way to the semi-final. That's gonna be the second one for Sinks, but there are some names here that maybe are not so present on the leaderboard or on the map leaderboards, but are very present in the tournament still, and the pace is there for sure. The consistency as well. Yeah, okay, sorry. The thing. At least we have memorized the schedule properly now. But everything is looking pretty open still. We have still 1 Finnish player in the bracket. We have 3 Finns. We have 3 Swedes and 1... Wait, hold on. No, do we? Okay, we have... Alright, let's take a look again. I did not memorize. So, Klovny is the 1 Finnish player still in the bracket. And then we have 3 Swedes. So we have Kopro, Susui and Wildcard. Then we have 3 Norwegians, which would be Dumle, Sinks and Andy. And then Dunste there as the Danish player, still standing. In some sense, Dunste, the defending champion, of course, has won the 2022 and 2023 editions, which essentially means that Dunste came top 2 on both. Jake Ray was winning the first one, and then Quick won the last year's edition. But for the top 2, there is a pretty big prize, and that will go to 2 of these players as well today. That prize is a trip to Paris, France for Paris Games Week 2025. So you get a fully paid a travel abroad. And a pretty cool one as well. I've been to Paris Games Week a long time ago, and it was pretty nice. But yeah, you might be wondering indeed, like, what is with the French theme overall. This competition is hosted by the French Institutes of Nordic countries. So we have a little bit of Nordic sort of vibe to this, as well as some French vibe. I think we're soon ready to go in. Double checking that everything is good to go. And it should be. So I think we can get the players on the server in just a moment. We are indeed spectating match 1 because they are at different times, so it would be quite the waste to go on server 2 at this point. So both semifinals are going to be played separately, one after the other, and then we have the grand finals after. So we will see 3 matches on great maps today. So, I think we will call our players in. Let me double check. Semi-final server 1 is there, so we can get our players in. Might take a moment for the server to load in. There we go. We are on the server. They will have a little bit of time to jump in, but the server is up, and the maps have been randomized. So the map order for today is going to be, let me quickly remind myself, Code, Metronome, Han, and Sala. Last day was very different, so we'll see if that affects the players at all. We do have some players who definitely excel more on other maps than they do on, for example, this one. And there's some difficulties in, for example, on consistency on Kola's map, Sala, which has been a bit troublesome for some players. Of course, we do have the top 8 of the tournament right here, so we might see a different level today than we saw yesterday. Some excellent players here. Pro, a very good Swedish player, has been played in tournaments for a while now. We have also Klovny as the Finnish national championship title currently in the bag. Of course, Dunste already was introduced here. has won the Nordic Cup before, so definitely can handle the pressure in these kinds of competitions, has shown it already. And then we have Dumle, who I have to admit I'm not super familiar with Dumle's game, but anyone who gets to the top 8 has to have it in them to also get to the grand final. These are going to be tight matches, very stacked tournaments, and we are now ready to jump in. Ready to see what these players are able to do, and it's a pretty fun match because we have one player from each country here. Denmark, Norway, Finland versus Sweden. So get some support to your maybe home country, or maybe just your favorite Nordic country, or maybe you like France and you want to cheer for France, that's fine as well. 10 seconds of warm-up and we're live to our 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 match. And this is going to work the same as yesterday, so cup mode will be played. We are going to have our typical rounds here. Everyone starts at the same time, tries to finish as quickly as possible, gets points regarding their position on the round. And after that, when you reach 120 points today, you will be able to get that finalist status, and with that finalist status you need to win one more round to secure your ranking. So, live to the first round here. Kopro with a great start. Oh, quite the mistake from Dunste. Crashing into the wall. Kopro, Klovny and Dumle still holding. Now, the final ice slide, still pretty steady. Dumle taking over on the second place. Klovny with a really nice push there. Does overtake the second place again and secures the +6 points. But Kopro does hold on to the lead for the very final moments there. And 10 points do go to Kopro. Dunste, of course, there. Only 3 points from that first round, but plenty of time to make a difference. Kopro with a mistake there. Will drop far below the others on the scoreboard now on this round, but at the same time, those 10 points from the first round do really help. Dunste? A little bit of a better round. Oh, Kopro with another mistake there. In the back, as we saw. But Klovny and Dumle still battling for this round win. Klovny with a bit more speed, it looks like. Now into the ice slide, risking the exit. And Klovny may be a little faster, but doesn't seem like it's quite fast enough. Kopro maybe with a tactical small break here before finishing. Using all the time here to maybe take in some deep breaths. Make sure that you're ready for the next round. At the end of the day, Trackmania is such a dynamic, such a precise game that any amount of focus that you can get out of yourself is going to help you out. And this time, the round is looking a little bit cleaner. Kopro with the gear down will lose quite a bit of speed again. Battle for the first place is pretty tight. Klovny does take it for now, but the two players again very close. It's again going to be about the ice slide exit. Dunste, wide exit. Dumle will be able to, looks like, secure that second place by a couple hundredths of a second. Klovny does hold on to the first place and climbs into the lead for now. Kopro with another +3 from that round does end up dropping a little bit lower on the scoreboard for now, but everything's still fairly close. Time, Klovny has made the first mistake, slightly at least, It's not really hard to say if it's really a mistake. It's only a couple tenths of a second, but it usually ends up being fairly decisive. But Dunste once more does make that middle section crash, and the Pro will be alone here in the lead for a while. Has a couple tenths to spare. Dumle tries to push, but not quite able to pull it off. We do have Dunste pretty far away, and... oh, wait! Kopro with a respawn. Oh, and Dumle also failing the ending. What is happening on this round? I was focused on so many things at once, I didn't even fully notice what happened to Dumle. Because Kopro had a respawn there at the end, and somehow it's Dunste with the first crash who actually ends up taking the round at the end. Well, those points do come in handy for Denmark. Some question marks in the chat, which is understandable, but the competition is tight. Only the top two will make it to the grand finals here, as we move on to Metronome and quickly take a look at what's happening on this map. So, Metronome, actually by myself, a very mixed map, has kind of everything, a little bit of everything. Some more vertical elements, some transitions, some pretty tight sections, some a little bit wider sections where you do have a lot of freedom to push for different kinds of lines depending on what you are, what kind of circumstances you are on. Live to the first round here. Klovny has the world record here, as far as I remember now. We just checked it before the tournament, and I think Klovny did get it yesterday, so Kopro not far behind on second place on the leaderboard. Unless it was different map, but either way, Kopro really good pace on this map overall, but Klovny had some great rounds too. Does seem like Dumle is first to make a mistake here, but the others are super close, pushing very close to the walls. Now for the drift, into the grass, uphill. One's getting it really well. Klovny pushing a little bit, and it does seem to work out. A little bit more speed, and now for the grass ending. Who pushes the most speed? I think Kopro will have this in the bag, and will get 10 points after a couple very unfortunate rounds there. So Kopro climbing back towards the lead here. Dumle taking those 3 points there, probably needs a little bit more of these top twos, top ones, like we saw in the beginning of the first map, or at least those like top 3, top 2 placements, to not fall too far back from the others. Everyone else very close to each other, and of course it's going to be a long journey to that 120 points. Dumle again falling behind in the same spot. There's something about that, that plastic exit there, plastic uphill. But the others, it's almost like a deja vu here. Exactly the same positions. Can Klovny this time push a bit closer? It seems like Kopro will get the best end. Yet again, maybe Dunste a little bit faster, but Kopro, again, a great time there. Pretty much the exact same round as we saw on round 1. Are we watching a replay? It does mean that Kopro will take the lead now, climbing 1 point ahead of Dunste, who has sort of like sneakily climbed into the lead. Getting a lot of top 2 placements, especially Dunste, so... And of course that one very fortunate round win, we could say. Some mistakes on this round though. Kopro and Dumle might battle it out for the 3rd place here. Same time, Klovny and Dunste. Trying to get those 10 points again would be important for both of them at this point. Probably maybe loses a little bit of speed, maybe gets a little bit worse entry into the grass. Dunster, though, will be able to hold on and finishes on first place. Dumle also sniping a Copro there at the end by a couple hundredths of a second, so just take those important 4 points at least. It's only 1 point more than the 4th place, but these small clutches can result in some big differences later on. Very, very tight situation. Lovely, a bit too close to the wall there, will be crashing. The others still going strong. GoPro, oh, did look like a little bit of a slowdown there, but still holding on. Everyone's very close, dead even. It's only a couple hundredths of a difference between all three of them. Dumle does have the lead for now, but Dunster with a much better line here. Who gets the best speed into this ending? I think it might still be Dumle, and Dumle does seem to hold on. Pro trying to push for the final early finish there to the right side, but not quite able to get those couple hundredths off of the time. But important 10 points for Dumle, showing that this is going to be a very tight match. We're now halfway through the rotation. We're moving on to the next one, which is built by Doogie. A very, very interesting map. Has some tricky transitions. Some jumps. You need to push a little bit. And an interesting ending with also reactor that you can push. We saw a couple players push this a little bit too much. So the idea here is that you don't want to go too wide because it forces you to slow down more. You would rather take the smallest amount of the reactor possible just to get the reactor effect, which of course increases your acceleration. But if you go too tight here, you might end up missing the reactor and you might not be able to then get any speed at all. You will still be able to finish, but it's a pretty substantial speed loss that you need to suffer. So it's all about how much you want to push for this reward. Are you going to want to take the pixel line there and risk potentially missing the reactor? Or are you going to take it a little bit safer, go a little bit wider, and maybe miss a couple hundredths of a second? Because that can be decisive as well, as we've seen. We have Klovny and Copper here in the lead into the gear down section. Oof, Dumle with a rough landing does not quite get the jump right. Does seem like it's between Sweden and Finland, the classic matchup. And now for the reactor, Copro gets it really nicely. What a push for the ending. And clutches the first place there. Wow. A beautiful line from Copro. Getting those 10 points. And climbing, I think, not quite in the lead, but only 2 points away from Dunster now. But very, very tight battles here. Not only on the rounds, but also on the leaderboard. Every player has gotten a round win so far. So it's looking very competitive in this first semifinal today. This time everyone's on a pretty clean start. They're a little wide maybe, but might actually just be Dumle who gets the better turn there out of all of them. Slight nose slide there into the landing, and now jumping to the plastic, trying to build the speed, full speed into the plastic drop down now. Dumle going a little too tight, and it's up to the 3 players here. All of them get the reactor nicely. It seems like Klovny and Dunste battling it out, and Klovny, it is the player to get the 6 points from that round. Kopro with a confident round win there still, 56.1. A very, very good time. $67 points now. Sweden taking the lead. But nothing's over yet. We are aiming for 120 points today. And after that, we're going to get the finalist status attempts. So as soon as one player reaches those 120 points, they will attempt to win one more round. And if they win that one round, they secure the ticket to the grand finals. If not, that allows other players to get that finalist status themselves and get to a pretty intense battle. But this time, very close round here. Hard to say whatever's going to happen. Was there a respawn from Dumle? I am not sure what happened to Dumle there. Klovny will be able to get that round there. Maybe it was a reactor miss or flipping or something. Hard to say. It looked like a decent line to me, but at the end, it is Klovny getting those 10 points. Very tight rounds. This time we do have a slight mistake. Klovny has dropped a couple tenths behind. And Dumle as well. A little bit of a mistake there. About 1 second separating these two groups of players now. Kopro and Dunste still standing strong here. Kopro going very close to the wall, but somehow does not crash. Pixels away, but still holds on. And gets more speed as well. So this will be again a battle for the reactor. Kopro gets a really good landing. Really good reactor. I think Dunste is slower as well, so Kopro one more 10-pointer from this round. Dunste, of course, very consistent rounds, even if these round wins are going to the others. Dunste is still getting those top twos really, really nicely, really consistently. So overall, looking pretty good as we go to Sala. This is a map from Kola, a seasoned Finnish mapper, and perhaps the most technical out of all of these maps, I could say. A little bit tricky to say, because a lot of it is just the players' like personal preference as well and personal skill set, but it is a very tight map. There are some very difficult sections like this one here. Full speeding through this line. And then the dirt section, we saw many crashes on the outside line. Not trivial at all. So it's all about consistency here as well. All about being able to push through these corners without crashing, without losing too much speed. Everyone's getting the start pretty nicely. It is actually Dumle dropping a little bit further though. The start itself is already difficult to do full speed. But so far, at least 3 players have done a very, very clean run. Everyone's surviving the tricky road section into the dirt now. Trying to push the speed through the outside line. It does seem like Dumle goes a little too close to the wall and does end up crashing. Klovny in the lead, holding onto the gear. Oh, Dunste does drop it, and that is a substantial speed loss. But Klovny will defend that first place until the very end. Kopro with the second place. will be able to get some extra points and still hold on to the lead. Second round here. 89 points on Copro. Getting closer and closer to the final status, but there's still a few more maps to go realistically. 3 more rounds on this map, so those 30 points wouldn't be enough for 120 points anyway. But on the next map, potentially, Copro could seal the deal. Once more, similar situation. Dumoulin does not crash this time. Maybe there's a path to the podium here, but drops the gear, and it's a really tight battle, but Klovny with more speed will be able to get another round win, climbing closer and closer towards that first place. Now, all the way up to 91 points. Only 4 points from the lead. Instead, dropping a little bit lower with 81 points in the bag. And Dumoulin has some climbing to do. If there is to be that grand final spot later. With really clean lines through the plastic on this third round. We'll be able to push through, but no, goes a little too close, and sometimes it is that that sort of pixel pushing that ends up being costly, but at the same time, Klovny is doing really nicely again. Very good pace, keeps the gear, and will be able seemingly to take another 10-pointer here. Dunster not quite able to snipe Copro there at the end. $101 points now for Klovny, and officially taking the lead to Finland. It is Copro and Klovny. Pretty close to the final status now. One of them might get it on the next map. But we have one more round here on Sala. Copro with a great line again through the plastic. Really, really good speed. We'll be able to hold it for now as well, but Dunste is not done yet. Wants to get those 10-pointers here. Klovny way too close to the wall there, and does end up crashing. Battle for first place here. Dumoulin not far either, but I do think it's gonna be Copro here, taking that first place. With a very nice time as well. 48.8. So Copro back to the lead after the crash there from Klovny. 109 points, so at least 2 more rounds before the final status can be gotten. We go back into code. 109 points for Copro, 104 for Klovny, and 90 points for Dunste. Dumoulin there with 65 points. Might be a tricky battle towards the top 2, but of course anything's possible. We've seen comebacks of this nature before in Trackmania. Let's see how the players do. This map was very diverse in the first rotation. I think we had just about everyone winning a round, more or less. So some mistakes at the end especially. Getting the line into the risky finish jump is not that easy, so especially at this point when nerves might play a part, it can be hard to stay consistent on that section. Apologies if there's audio issues, they generally fix themselves. I'm unsure what it's about. Klovny though, with an early mistake there, crashes into the wall, so will not be getting that many points from this round. Dunste as well, and this is actually a great time for Kopro to potentially get more points. Getting closer and closer to the 120 again. It seems like Kopro holds on to the lead for now, but it's all about the ending. Kopro does seem to have the line and secures the 10 points. Now up to 119 points. Only will be able to finish as well. So at least getting those 3 points, they are very important at this point. 119, of course, a very awkward position to be in, as you're 1 point away from the final status, and you don't really do anything with the excess points. So at this point, Kopro's goal is just to deny the others as many points as possible. So another round win does not really serve the purpose of getting points, but rather, well, rather denying others points. But with that mistake, Kopro will just focus on finishing the round. That will be the final status for Kopro, and the good news with that is that Kopro will be alone with the final status, which means that potentially there will be a possibility of securing some round wins before the others can catch up. Tight ending though, Dunste going very wide, but still holds on to the speed and the line. Dumle not making the jump there. Kopro climbing to the 3rd place. So we do have the finalist status now. Kopro has it in the bag, and now it's all about winning that one round. For the others, the task is to deny those points. And this is where you might get a little bit nervous. But so far so good. Kopro looking towards those grand finals. A clean drift. And another one, maybe a little slower the second one, but still holding on to the lead by 1/10 of a second. The others fairly close. It's all about the ice slide again. Kopro will be going for the tight line and pushing through, gets a slowdown, and no, every single player will be sniping Kopro there. It did seem like Kopro did not have quite the right entry into the plastic flick. They can be difficult to do, and that slight speed loss there costing Kopro the ending. And now Klovny, the next player to enter the 119 point score there. Dunste not far from it either. Kopro has one more chance here, thanks to that one point missing on Klovny's side, to try to secure the grand final spot. Very tight round. Dunste in the lead right now. Would really like to get this round win as well for those extra points. But it's all about the final isolate again. Dunste going pretty wide. Kopro does not have more speed, and it's going to be 2nd place for Kopro. Dunste and Klovny both with the finalist status as we enter Metronome. No one able to clutch it out here. And we have a triple finalist situation. Nerve-wracking situation. Dumle would need 4 round wins here to deny the others. So it will be difficult for sure. Crazy things happen. But most likely we will have at least one grand finalist. going out of this map. Potentially two. GoPro had those 2 attempts with the final status, but now Klovny and Dunste have climbed back in. We're live to the round, to the first round of Metronome, and this is the important one. Everyone knows what the stakes are, so close to the walls, but it pays off. It pays off. The risk is big, but the payout is also big. Slight lead going into this. Also more speed out of the drift. Klovny dropping a little bit further. Dunste at the moment on second place. GoPro pushing into the grass part. Takes a late exit there. Klovny tries to push for a lot of speed. Dunste pretty even with Klovny, but GoPro with a confident 0.1 second lead. Now into the drift. Gets it pretty well. A nice wide angle. Klovny crashes, and now it's all about GoPro and Dunste. GoPro pushing through, and is the third time the charm? I think it is. Dunste has made a mistake as well, so GoPro will be able to secure the grand final spot. Will be able to get the third attempt in, and manages to get the first slot in the grand finals, which will be played a little bit later today. But we still have one more place there. Dunste and Klovny. Both with the final status, but we saw some mistakes from both of them in the previous round. It could be that Dumle would be able to deny both of them here as well. It's always possible. The moment it is too early to call anything at all. All players within a couple hundredths of a second. Klovny with a full respawn, so now it's about Dumle denying Dunste here. In the ending goes a little over the penalty grass, and Dunste has everything here. 0.15 lead. Dumle too close to the wall. Dunste crashes, and Dumle will be able to overtake at the end, denying Dunste off that grand final spot right at the end of the map. Both players making the mistake, but Klovny will be thanking Dumle of this ending. Will be able to get another chance here. Now it's all about whether anyone can truly focus after rounds like these. It is so difficult to regain composure. At the same time, the players are driving well so far as well. Klovny into the wall. Gets the second chance, but unfortunately makes a similar mistake again. So now again it would be up to Dumle to deny the Danish grand final spot. Dunste again with more speed into the grass section and more speed into the final plastic part 2. All about the final grass. Now, can the players avoid the mistakes? They can, but Dumle gets the better ending and will be able to get a second deny as well. 10 points in the bag for Dumle, and getting scarily close to the final status as well. Still quite some ways to go, but 2 more rounds and it's right there. Klovny gets the third chance here. Dumle has denied Dunste now. Right at the end, the final checkpoint, twice in a row. And Dunste get that third time charm as well. GoPro showed it before. It's a little bit of a different looking start here. No mistakes so far, but Dunste a little bit further from the others. Dumle at the moment in the lead, seems to be in the zone on these rounds now. Dunstad gets a really good line, will be able to build a lot of speed into the ending. Klovny super close, Dumle a little wide. Klovny might be getting a better ending here, but let's see what happens. Oh, Dunstad climbing in and sniping Dumle on the third attempt indeed. Will be able to get the 7,000s after Klovny also makes the mistake at the end. What a match! Getting the second place out of this first semifinal, and I'll say that the second semifinal has some work to do to match this one. But we are going to go into that in just a couple minutes. Kopro and Dunste deservedly through. Thank you also to Dumle and Klovny for that great show. Klovny with some really great times overall, and Dumle with those huge clutches on the final moments there. Truly some proper Trackmania esports right here. Good racing. Alright. So, let's take a couple minutes here. And we will go into the second semifinal in just a moment. Alright, back we go. Oof. God damn, what a first semi-final we just had. Now it is time to check out the other players. Just as a quick reminder, Kopro and Dunste indeed are through to the grand finals, and now we have Sinks, Susui, Andy Baguette, and Wildcard playing in the second semi-final. We already have Susui here on the server, waiting for the others. They will have some time. quite the journey we've had here. In this match, we have a little bit of a different situation than in the previous one, because here we do have only Swedes and Norwegians. They have been excelling throughout the entire tourney. As we just saw Copro also make it to the Grand Finals. But we did have Dunste, of course, as the only Dane in the top 8 also make it to the Grand Finals, so looking good for Denmark as well. Andy here, a very good ice player, and I'm not just saying that because he just is in the process of failing these ice slides. But very known, not only ice player, but also ice mapper. And definitely knows how to do these kinds of sections like we have here at the end of Code. We now have, I think, all the 4 players in the match. So we are getting started with our second semi-final as well. Susui, Andy, Sinks versus Wildcard here. What a lineup. And let's see who makes it. 2 players will be making it to the Grand Finals here from this match. Everyone should be ready to go. I believe players are warmed up here. Have probably been watching the first semi-final as well and know what kind of a journey that one was. But now it's time for them to show what they got on these maps. Let us check out our first map introduction here. We are starting with Thone's Code. Thone, a rising star, let's say, in the Nordic mapping scene, has been building some great track of the days, and now also a Nordic Cup map. And it's a very cool one. There's some pretty technical sections on this one. Some transitions that you really need to be sure you understand before you start doing these runs. And also, of course, these slower dirt sections that the players are now getting into, so different skill sets, different kinds of elements on this map as we're live to our first round of the second semi-final. Norway versus Sweden, which I do not know if that is as classic of a matchup as Finland versus Sweden is in usual sports, but we'll see. We'll see what is made out of. Does seem like Andy and Sinks are getting the best start out of the bunch. Susui going very wide. Does not really get the extra speed to go with it. Andy still in the lead, but super close first round here. Now into the ice. And the plastic flake. Everyone seems to get it. And Andy will be able to get the finish, but no. Unfortunately, there is one crash from Sinks just below the finish line. So, not quite everyone gets it clean, but Andy does hold on to the lead to the very end. So, able to get those 10 points, but as we saw in the previous match, these early rounds can be kind of like undecisive, let's say. It's not really that important who comes out in the lead after the first map, unless it's a player literally winning every single round. Then we might have some reason for alarm. There's a mistake from Susui there in the background, flipping the entry into the road after the plastic. Andy still holding strong, but Wildcard with better speed into the dirt part. Now to the gear down. A slower section here. Need to get the white line, as much speed to the exit as possible. Everyone gets it pretty well. Now the ice slide to the end. Oh, Wildcard so on the edge of the block, but it somehow works. Sinks will be able to get the finish this time, and will get the best speed out of the ice slide too. I have no idea how Wildcard did not clip there. One wheel off the road pretty much, but it works out. Second place, and indeed, Sinks from 4th place to 1st place in the first 2 rounds, so no reason to despair just yet for any of the players. A very stacked semifinal, this one as well. Andy this time with the slowest start, but gets a great drift line there. Now into the dirt. Overtakes Susui, Sinks and Wildcard in the meantime fighting for that first place, but Andy much too close to the pole there. And now it is Wildcard, Sinks and Susui battling it out for the first place. It does seem like Wildcard will get it. Susui not able to get any extra speed out of the final section there. All of the players with very good pace so far. Of course, it doesn't really matter how fast you're driving, it really just matters if you're driving faster than the others in your match. Though definitely being the best player in the world probably helps with that if you can get world record pace consistently. At the end of the day though, just getting those important round wins in, that is a lot of what gets you the best results. Now we have 2 mistakes here. Sinks with the bigger one, but Andy also with a slight slowdown. Wildcard with a pretty decent lead here. Goes a little wide, but should be able to get the final jump. Susui securing the 2nd place for Sweden as well. But Wildcard, slowly but surely, getting that lead further and further from the others. 32 points now out of the first map, which is a very good result. 40 being the maximum, of course, out of 4 rounds. Others are pretty even. 22, 21, and 17 points for them, so we're going into metronome and seeing how this will progress. Did you know that metronome is a French invention? I did not know until I googled this map name for more time than I'm willing to admit. So yeah, if you're completely clueless about what's with all the French stuff in the Nordic Cup, this tournament is organized by the French Institute of Nordic Countries, the Institut Français, which, and I'm making a mistake here, they do things like, for example, language classes, promote French concerts, theater, as much as I've seen, at least, and all kinds of things sort of relating to French culture. And of course, Trackmania being a French game, they have wanted to do this Trackmania tournament for a couple years in a row now, and it's great that they do. It's a really nice way to elevate the Nordic scene, and also the prize, the trip to Paris, is pretty solid. Tight round here on the first round. Sinks with a bit more speed, but Wildcard does hold on with 100th of a second to the first place. Susui getting the 3rd place there. So Wildcard with another round win. Doing better and better. Now though, it's a much more even start here. Andy, no mistake, and bearing the lead with Sinks pretty much. Sinks with a bit more speed. We see players go for a little bit different lines here. Some going for the later grass quarter pipe entry, going higher a little bit later, and some going high in the very beginning of the quarter pipe. So different strats. Sinks' early strat does seem to pay off though. Quite the lead here, and the final grass turn does work out as well. Everyone will be getting to the end of 4,000s between 3rd and 4th place, but Susui able to get that 2nd place behind Sinks. $27 and 27 points. High between Susui and Andy. Wildcard still in the lead by 8 points. But Sinks getting closer and closer. Great start again for the Norwegian. Andy dropping a little bit further from the others, but yeah, and that crash does kind of seal the deal for this round, I think. Wildcard though, climbing into the lead. At least contesting it. Sinks still definitely has the chance to push this, but we'll see. It's all about the ending now. Plastic. Sinks does get a little bit of a better entry to the grass, I think, so potentially more speed and really pushing it. I think Sinks will take this one with a great ending there. It's a very tricky ending to push, but Sinks does it beautifully. Getting another 10-pointer. Now getting to 48 points. Whereas Wildcard has the 52, meaning a 4-point lead still. Zoe and Andy falling a little bit further. But still holding on to the chance of getting to the grand finals. Zoe going for the late grass exit here, and it might be a little bit less speed in the exit. I do not know. It looks pretty even, actually, interestingly. So not too much difference, probably. One's super close to each other as well. Andy here going for a wide entry. Really inside line, and I think that means that the others will catch up. Everyone will catch up. Sinks will be the player to reach the finish line first. Andy a little bit too tight of a line into the grass, and it's a really difficult one to be able to survive if you want to still push enough speed for that final jump. But we do have a tie for the lead right now. 58 and 58 points as we go to Ha by Doogie. I once again thank you, Doogie, for giving very caster-friendly map names. Incredible. It is a very cool map. It is a caster-friendly map, I will say. So many opportunities to push for speed, a little bit of risk involved on every single section on this map. Sometimes it can cost you, we've seen many crashes, many mistakes on this map, but at the end of the day, the consistency has been very respectable from the players that we've seen on this map. Now it's time for our second semi-final group to show what they're made of. Oh, Susui! Seems like there was a lag spike. Perhaps. That is very unfortunate. I don't see any reports from Susui, so yeah, it seems like there might have been some lag spike issue there. Hopefully still able to finish the round at least. At the same time, Sinks, Wildcard and Andy battling for the win. All of them get the reactor. Sinks with the best ending will be securing that first place. Susui will have time to finish the round. Hopefully it was a one and done. Oh, gamepad disconnect. Okay. That is very unfortunate. For some reason, those do happen quite frequently, but it seems like now situation's fine. So we able to play again. The one thing that it can impact, other than the round that it happens on, is of course your general focus, which hopefully will remain unaffected. As always, when something unexpected like that happens, it can be hard to look in after that, but looks like Susui doing pretty well on this next round already. Wildcard leading so far, Andy with a slightly slower start here. Everyone's pretty much 2/10 away from each other. Everyone's pushing the plastic landing very nicely, and now into the reactor. Sinks pushing for speed, but Wildcard will have this one in the bag. Very much taking turns winning these rounds right now. With great times too. The pace is great. 74 and 74. Wildcard with the mistake in the beginning of this round though, so might be that we have another top 2 here, and it might be also because Sinks makes a mistake too, so this could be a chance for both Andy and Susui to catch up a little bit, get those points while they're up for grabs. Both getting a very clean line into the small dirt landing here. Andy with a little bit of penalty crash allows Susui to take over, but Andy at least holds the gear in the landing. Wildcard actually not far behind, so Andy needs to be ready to push this ending here. Does so really nicely. Gets the reactor. Susui a little slower, but a better line into the ending will secure that first place. A great risky jump there from Susui. Just make sure that those 10 points do go to Sweden. A little bit of a climb here. A little bit of even in round there. 52 points now on Susui. Andy with 46. And Wildcard and Sinks still very even. Early to say who's gonna take what here. But Andy is having another great start. Sinks once more dropping a little bit further from the others. Susui as well. Seem to be leaving this top 1 battle for Andy and Wildcard. And that one is very close. Only 6 thousandths between them on the previous checkpoint. Now Andy taking the lead by a couple hundredths of a second. Still looks like it's just gonna be the two of them battling it out. Andy getting the speed. Wildcard will not be able to catch up, and Andy secures another 10 points here. Sinks with the 4 and Susui with 3 points. So now Andy very close to Susui, and Wildcard and Sinks still very close to each other as we move on to our final map of the rotation. This one's called Sala. I think the biggest difference between this map and the others is maybe the tight road sections that this one has. Especially the start already can be a little bit hard to push full speed. You absolutely can do it, but it's not trivial. It is very tight. Not easy. And then we have the section in the middle, which this one has been tricky for many players too, to push for speed. And then the dirt section, where we've seen so many players go a little bit too wide, crash this outside wall here. So it's all about whether you can push those lines consistently or not. You probably will have to push them, because the pace of these players is very strong. So we're gonna wait and see if the players can do those consistent clean rounds here, or if this is going to be decided by those either small mistakes or some crashes. Andy here, a little bit further away from the others than on the previous map, but still some time to climb back in. Goes a bit too close to the wall, and exactly what I'm talking about. Really tight to push for that full speed line there. Now for the dirt line. Seems like Wildcard does get it the best, but Sinks and Sasoi pretty close. Sinks with a crash. Now for the final plastic part, both Wildcard and Sasoi get it well. They do secure the 10 and 6 points with excellent times as well. 48.7 from Wildcard is a fantastic round. I feel like the 48.9 not being a winning time for Tsusui has to hurt a little bit. That's a really fast time as well. But at the same time, at the very least, those 6 points are in the bag. Oof, going so close to the wall, but not quite crashing. Now to the drift. Oh, Andy again with a small touch in this middle section. We will have Wildcard and Sinks once more in the lead. It's all about whether those mistakes can be prevented here. Sinks super close to the wall, but does avoid the crash again. Now the final plastic turn. Everyone seems to hold the gear, and Wildcard will be taking this round as well with another 48.7. Excuse me? Okay. Sinks is this time the player to get the 48.9. I think that was exactly the same time, yeah. Yeah, well, that is some consistency. That is truly some fast Trackmania gameplay. And it works out. Wildcard, the first player in this match to cross the 100-point barrier, as we have 2 more rounds here. This time Andy with a much better start. Currently holding the lead, but goes a bit too wide and needs to release a lot. That might have been a crash as well. Not quite a crash it seems, but it does end up being enough of a slowdown to give the lead to someone else. Sinks holding it currently. Does seem like Sinks will hold that wildcard. Another 48, this time not a 0.7, but Sinks with an excellent time as well, 48.85 there. So doing very nicely as well, crushing the 100 points too. 110 points now for Wildcard. Sort of very consistent overall performance in this match on every single map, getting those points left, right and center. And now one more round win would secure exactly 120 points, which means the finalist status as well, which means only one more round win in the next map as we go into Code would secure the grand final spot. Here we go, everyone's doing a clean run so far. Wildcard slight lead here, Sinks does climb back to the lead. Everyone with a really clean dirt outside line too, building all the speed. Now to the plastic. Does everyone hold the gear? I think they do, and it's so close, but Sinks will be able to clutch this in. Only 100th of a second between Andy and Wildcard. And those are important points for Andy as well. And of course, important deny that Sinks just did there. not only getting those 10 points, but also denying wildcard any chance of getting closer to that 120 points. Of course, at this point, the point difference between top 2 and top 3 is, well, top 4 as well, is about 40 points. So there are clearly two groups of players here. The times from Susui and Andy have been really good as well, but maybe it comes down to more about consistency. At the moment it does look like Wildcard and Sinks have the best chance of making it out of this group. Wildcard would need a second place to get to the 120 points, and Sinks needs a round win. We go back into Code by Thone. And this first round might be extremely important. If Sinks gets first place, for example, and Wildcard gets second, well, we can probably forget about that immediately. Maybe not. Well, I mean, things can happen, but... Okay, well, not these things, maybe. These things don't generally happen. But, if Sinks does win this round, it's going to at least be the finalist status for the Norwegian. So, holding on to this lead could be extremely, extremely useful. Of course, Wildcard will not be far behind either. Just getting the 4th place here will secure 117 points. So it's only one more round to finish, but now can Sinks do the ending? It's a very good lead. Jumps in, gets the finish. Great time as well, 50.2. I don't quite remember the world record time here, but that's not far from it. That's not far. It might even be world record. It might even actually be world record. I wish I had this with an easy access somewhere. Someone can maybe check. But it is either way. The more important thing at this moment is that it's finalist status for Sinks, which means that one more round win would secure a grand finalist spot. We'll join Hopro and Dunste there, who managed to get out of the first semi-final. Super close round so far. There's the first mistake from Wildcard. We'll be able to, of course, get the 3 points and the finalist status after this this round, just after finishing. I actually wonder if it was Andy right there, but Sinks is holding on to the lead, so we might have a chance here to snipe it away, but Sinks so far ahead, gets a great ice slide and another fantastic time. A clean journey through the second semi-final, secures the grand final spot, and is the first player to get through. So it was a world record also on the finalist round. That is quite something. Deservedly taking the first grand final spot out of this second semi-final. But now there's still another one to be had. And for that one, Wildcard, obviously the favorite, currently has the finalist status after the previous round. So now it's all about what the other two can do. So far so good. Andy and Susui both doing well. Wildcard a little bit behind, but the ending can change a lot. Does seem like everyone's entering the ice at pretty much the same pace. Wildcard might be able to overtake Susui here. Andy does look to hold on. Gets the finish as well. So there's the first deny, but they need way more. Both at 88 points now. So I would have to be quite a few rounds to deny a wildcard here. Maybe it's possible. Someone has to win the rounds. And I mean, at the end of the day, at this point, when you're so close to the grand final, the nerves kick in. Might be hard to focus. But it is... Wildcard has many, many chances here. Oh, it wasn't a wildcard, but pretty close either way. Very good pace from Sinks, and from the others as well. Great time from Andy on the previous round too, but this time a little bit of a mistake. Leaves it up to Susui to clutch this in, but Wildcard does overtake here. Andy too far to do much about this, and we might have our final grand finalist here if Susui can't get a godlike ending here. Now sliding into the plastic, and I think Wildcard gets it well, jumping through, getting a great time as well. Wildcard securing the final spot in the grand finals. Well done, well done. The points have been given out. 2 winners, Sinks and Wildcard, joining Dunste and Kopro in the grand finals. A little bit of a faster semi-final this one. But we are going to give our semi-finalists a little bit of a break before we go into our grand finals. So, we are going to check in with the players, check if they are ready, because the grand finals is scheduled a little bit later, but I think we'll aim to start it in about 10 minutes if the players are able. Okay, either way, we're gonna go on a small break here for about 5 minutes, and we'll be back after that. All right. We're going to give the players a slight break here for a few more minutes. And then we will play our grand finals. 3 countries represented, which is really great to see. Sweden with 2 players. But we have some very, very strong players from Denmark and Norway as well, so gonna be interesting to follow this grand finals. Quite the journey it has been. So yeah, if you just missed the semi-finals, we had first GoPro and Dunsteg going through the first semi-final, and then Sinks and Wildcard dominating the second one. I have a problem. I'm trying to type the player names into the stream title, but I'm typoing every single one of them. Let's see, I can probably type in Wildcard. There we go. What an excellent group of players. So as we give our players a slight bit of time here, before we boot up the grand final server, we can take a look at the current leaderboards as well. A good reminder for me as well, so that I kind of know what I'm talking about when we have these extremely fast runs. So yeah, the Sinks .2 indeed wasn't quite a world record, but it was a top 3 run, I do believe. So Sinks with the world record here. Write the world records on a note. It's I could, but I don't know where I would write it. I already have like an overcomplicated system here. I would actually need like a pen and paper, probably. I have just about every screen that I own already occupied, so it's okay. I can have fact checkers there in the chat, sort of glance around and see if I'm saying all the wrong things. That's what a note is. Well, you can have a digital note as well. Some very good runs on this one. Sinks does have, I think, yeah, top 4 on all the other maps. So that is the only world record for Sinks, but of course having top 4, if you're able to drive those kinds of times in rounds, that is pretty good. I think Sinks might have got them pretty close to the PB here as well, but Wildcard driving a 0.7 twice in a row here was that was quite something. Dawnstar with a great personal best here, but unfortunately couldn't play yesterday because of the because of being ill. Also, thank you for the resubs. We will get into it after the tournament properly. GoPro with the top 2 here. Was driving really nicely too, but I think Wildcard might have been driving the fastest pace on this. Of course, it's ultimately about consistency. And at the end of the day, you might only drive 4 rounds on this map. So those 4 rounds, like, you know, you make a mistake on one of them, ouch, well, okay, that's not too bad, let's try the next round. You make a mistake on the second one, that's already like 50% of the rounds kind of lost. So yeah, it can be really tricky to manage. I think Dunsted's runs are not on the leaderboard, so I'm not sure if we truly know like the pace of Doomsday, but of course we've seen sometimes, or maybe they could be just a little bit lower on the leaderboard right now. But I didn't notice any times before the tournament, so it might be some offline practice. I am not sure. Either way, Doomsday's strength I think so far has been consistency. Maybe not able to match the winning pace of every single map, but able to get those top 2s, and that's already a lot of points in the bag. Pro with the Wildcard here too, but Sinch and Wildcard also with a very, very good PB. And then we have Metronome, of course, where once more we have our 3 players very close to each other. One of the tighter leaderboards, this one. Thank you, I'm solo. Again, we see like a little bit different lines out of this grass, and I think it's a lot about like just balancing how much speed you get into the section and how much speed you get out of it. And yeah, actually Sinx's run here. Wait, this is Sinx's PB run? Hold up. Okay, well, this is actually useful information because this line probably not the best one. There's a crash on this run. And it's still only 6/100ths away from the Wildcard. Sinx's pace here on this map might actually be quite a lot faster than what the leaderboard tells us. So that's something to keep in mind. We shall see. We shall see. It is going to be a very, very fun Grand Finals. We'll give our players a couple more minutes to get ready. Especially the second semi-final players, of course. Probably want a small breather there. But we're gonna start up the server in just 2 minutes now. Chat is here to help, I appreciate that. And get ready to cheer for your favorite as well. They might need the help. Who knows? Again, I don't have the finals now updated on this picture, but our top 8 players here were Kopro, Klovny, Dumle, Doomsday, Sinx, Susui, Andy Baguette, and Wildcard. Susui, Andy Baguette, Klovny, and Dumle all putting on a great show. Some great runs, great records. All of them fast players, but unfortunately not quite able to make it to the Grand Finals. At the same time, those 4 spots in the Grand Finals are well deserved for the players who did make it there. All right. I think we might be ready to launch the server. So, with some luck, the Grand Finals server is now open. Let us see. Might take a little bit to actually launch. Or maybe I need to just reopen it from here. Looks good. So we do have Co-Pro. We do have Wildcard. The Swedes jumping in. The pre-warm-up should be a little bit longer. Let me see if it says that match is starting. Because we're still missing one player. That's fine. We're now in the pre-match warm-up again, waiting for the last player. Should be okay. Still waiting for syncs. We'll do a bit of manual ready check here instead. I am also adminning at the same time, by the way, so it's a little bit of multitasking. But I think so far so good. This was like the first time when the server did something of its own. But that's completely fine. Alright, I think we are getting ready to go. Let's check in on the status of the players. Pro is ready, Junstay is ready. Wildcard and Sinks seem to be getting a small feel for the server. But it does look like we are ready to go for the Grand Finals. Alright, we should be ready to go. Hopefully no points are given from this round. Yeah, looks good to me. So we are starting from 0, and now it is time for the Grand Finals of the Nordic Cup 2024. We have Sinks from Norway, Junste from Denmark, Co-Pro and Wildcard from Sweden, all players going through some tough matches to get to this place right now, and the top 2 from this match will take away a trip to France next year for Paris Games Week. Two winners out of this. Let's see how it all goes down. We're ready to jump in. Once more, starting on Thone's code, the first round. Kicking off right here. All of these players have been doing pretty great. Managing to pull off these victories on all kinds of maps. in the tournament, but now it's all about consistency as well. Everyone's getting a very, very clean start. Sinks with a very ambitious drift, and it works out. Climbs close to the top one spot right now, but Kopro gets the next drift a bit better and holds on to a solid 1/10 of a second lead here. Sinks a little closer after that dirt entry, and now a great exit from Sinks. Has very, very good speed here too. Kopro pushing through, and looks like that will be the 10 points. Going to Kopro with a 50.3. Great first round time there. Wildcard getting close to Sinks, but not quite close enough to snipe those 6 points away. Going into the second round now. Looks very similar so far, but there are some mistakes. Mainly from Dunster, but Kopro also dropping about 2/10 behind here. Well, maybe 1/10. Okay, now it's more like 2 seconds. Sinks with that great first drift again. Will take a convincing lead into this final part. The gear down dirt section. Bit lower speed, but you still need to build a lot of speed out of it, getting the 4th gear just before the ice. And now as long as Sinks will be able to get this line right, it should be another great time. 50.2 this time, getting those 10 points and managing to get the lead for the match at this point. Going into the third round now. This time, no mistakes from anyone so far. Well, Sinks a little bit too close to the wall though. Does clip and does lose quite a bit of speed. So now the Swedes are leading Kopro and Wildcard. Both looking pretty good on this round. Kopro a little too close to the inside of the dirt section there. Does lose some speed, but still holds on to second place at least. Now the exit, and Wildcard doesn't get it so well, and will lose the second place too. Kopro gets that first place once more. 10 points in the bag, and Wildcard needs to be content with that third place. For Dunster though, that second place is very welcome, starting the first 2 rounds a little bit slower than the others, so now getting closer to the same points. Early mistake this time from Kopro. Just dropped down quite far, but at least gets the gear back clean, so not a huge issue. Might be able to snipe third or even second place if there are some mistakes that we have seen on this map before. At the moment though, it does look like the others are driving really clean. Dunster with great speed here will contest the first place, but I think it's again going to be about the very end of the map. Sinks with a slight lead, but it's not enough to make it for sure. Now it is for sure though. A great ice slide secures another 10 points to Norway. And that is the lead back again. We are done with Code, and we move on to our second map in the rotation, which is going to be Metronome. And we saw some fantastic clutches here from both groups, actually. The ending can be so difficult to do perfectly, but if there's 4 players in this world that can do those insane runs on this map, these are probably the 4. Did you know that Metronome is a French invention? It is, it's true. I really have nothing else to say about this map because I feel weird talking about my own map, so That will have to do. But we have seen a couple different approaches here, and like Sinx's leaderboard time is very strong. Currently about less than a tenth away from the world record, but Sinx even like slightly crashes on that run. There's a slight like pole touch on that run, so I think the real pace from Sinx is actually much faster than the current world record. So we're gonna see if maybe that record can even be broken in this grand final. We have a mistake from Wildcard in the beginning, so we're gonna be up to these three to do those faster times here. Sinx and Dunste very close to each other. Sinx has more speed though, now into the drift. Both building it pretty wide. Dunste with an earlier grass entry might give more speed into this final part. Sinx crashes the exact same pole that the leaderboard run also crashes, and this should be Dunste's round now. Oh no, but the crash into the exit there, going a little bit too wide, maybe risking it slightly too much, and has to be content with a third place instead. Copro though, with a couple mistakes, will take the fourth place out of that round. So at the end, Dunste has to miss out on those 10 points, but the pace was good, and definitely can match that again. We have another mistake from Sinx here, this time in the beginning of the map. Now a second behind at least. Make that 2, so it's going to be Dunste battling against the Swedes here. Clean line out of the grass, will get a little more speed than Copro, and now building speed into the drift section. And for the ending as well, going very close to the pole, but it pays off. And can Dunste this time get the ending right? One of the trickiest turns off the map, builds the speed, gets it well. And that is an excellent time as well. Copro with the second place secures those 6 points. And Sinx will be able to finish the map on fourth place, at least getting those 3 points. Still holding on to the lead, but now it's getting a little tight. Copro overtaking Wildcard for the second place with just 1 point, but look at the leaderboard situation overall. Only 7 points separating all 4 players. It's truly up to those small moments, those small mistakes, small clutches. Those are going to be the things that decide this match. It's not pace, it's not how good your leaderboard time is. It's just about those slight adjustments that either go wrong or right. Dunste again with that lead. Now has a chance to get another clutch at the ending in. Really pushing it. It seems to work out. Wildcard super close. Only 0.014 seconds behind. But Dunste does get those 10 points. Doesn't really matter if it's by 100th, if it's by 1 second. And look at the situation now. 42, 41, 40, and 38. Doesn't even really matter if we say out the names or not, because at this point, it's anyone's game. You're 4 points behind the leader at this point, doesn't really matter. We will go on one round at a time and see how the situation develops. Really clean start from everybody again. Dunste maybe does not get the best line there, goes a little too low on the quarter pipe, and that does end up getting more speed than the others. Copro this time with a quite a bit better start than some of the previous rounds, and also looking to get those 10 points from this ending. Wildcard a little bit wide, and that allows Dunste to clutch in and snipe the second place too, but Copro is the player with the first place with a great time too, a 52.4, as we have Sinx getting the first place And now we are changing the positions a little bit. It's still gonna be a 4-point difference between top 1 and 4, but it's a different order. So at the moment, Copro seems to be taking the lead. Turns the second place 1 point away. Sinks 3 points away with the third place and wildcard with the fourth place, but only 4 points away, so can't get much closer than this. It is quite the situation as we go to Doogie's map, huh? And we can take a quick look at what this map is all about. Tricky map, some flow changes on this one. Some different sections where it's not so easy to always get the perfect line. Need to try to build a lot of speed. There's a slight no-slide on this dirt too that the players are doing, avoiding some drifts to get all the possible speed through it. Here we go then. Third map of the rotation. And we have a slight slowdown already from Copro. And wildcard as well. The Swedes struggling a little bit. Wildcard with the big mistake of that round. So Sinks and Dunste potentially having the chance now to get a slight lead here. Pretty much anyone who wins this round will be taking the lead. And so far it's hard to tell. Sinks gets a really good plastic line there and pushes for more speed as well, so if this reactor goes well, it should be around to Norway. Oh, but it does not! It does not. Well, the reactor went well, to be fair. The final jump did not. That was unfortunate for Sinks. At the end of the day, not a full disaster, but these might end up being fairly costly. It's that slight bit of loss of concentration that can result in a few points being missed. And this round as well, it seems like Sinks dropping a little bit lower in the beginning. May be able to climb back though. The Swedes having a better time this time. Very close to each other. But Dunste not far either. Definitely within striking distance. A lot can happen in this ending as we saw, and Dunste looking to build some good speed. Might overtake wildcard here. Copro maybe a bit too far away. Super close between the two players, but wildcard does hold on to the second place there. With a great ending. So Copro once again climbing into the lead here. 64 points now. Dunste holding on to second place so far. Not far from the first either. A little bit of separation between the players compared to the previous map, but at the end of the day, anyone can still take this one. Been around from everyone so far. It's a very tight top 3, and then Sinks here a little bit behind. Just about the 10th, but Sinks has a really ambitious line here. That will pay off as well. Really good speed, climbing very close to top 3. And maybe with a good ending, there could be a bit of a clutch too, but no, Sinks pushes it maybe a little too much. And it seems like Copro has maybe missed the reactor too. But there's another finish miss. Dunste has failed the ending, and Sinks, I think, failed the ending too. So, Wildcard the only player to get that ending clean. If I saw that right, there's a lot happening. But yeah, it can be a bit difficult to get those runs in. Sinks with a big mistake in the very beginning. Quite far behind the others now, looking to probably just make sure that the round is finished. And the thing is that even though there are some mistakes on these rounds, the winner always still gets those 10 points, so these can be fairly decisive rounds. Even if they are not like within a 1,000th of a second from each other between the players. This one might be though. Copro and Wildcard both pushing. Copro with a bit more ambitious push. Who's gonna take it? Oof, Wildcard with 5,000th of a second difference. Does manage to get those 10 points once more and climbs closer to the top placement now. 73 points after this final round. And only 3 points from Copro. Sinks dropping a little bit lower after that map, but at the same time it's not far enough to really say anything much of how this match is going to go from here. We're moving on to Sala by Kola. The fourth map in the pool. The best two players will be getting the ticket to Paris out of this match. Of course, all the players can be happy with their performance so far. But it is only the top two that get that grand prize. We shall see. Going into this fourth map now. Very tight map. A lot of this is about just like deciding how much you want to risk. With a slight mistake there. What I mean by that is, for example, here, when you get into this line, you have to make the decision of whether your line can work full speed or not very quickly. And it seems like Sinks and Dunstead both made a slight miscalculation there. And we do have Wildcard there in the front all alone. Copra and Sinks. Oh, Sinks crashing as well. Huh? What? Wildcard respawns? What? What happened? Was it maybe a misclick? I'm not sure what happened on the... Maybe there was something about the jump that went super wrong. Or it could be like a nervous misclick as well on the respawn. It's possible, I guess. Hard to say. Didn't really see that clearly there. But either way, it is... Wildcard having to concede that first place, and the points go to the others. Sinks again with a slight mistake in the beginning. Now it's Copro leading. This time the players do get the road section very clean. Now Dunstead might be falling a bit too far from Copro to catch up, but a lot can happen in the ending. Wildcard gets a really clean ending, and this time gets the line. My guess would be that the jump line... Like, I think Wildcard saw that the jump line was going to crash the finish. So it was probably like a really quick respawn. Like, that is probably the most likely explanation, right? It might be hard to see from our point of view, but what I think would have happened is like it was a risky finish jump. Jumping towards the left a little bit, and then so immediately like, oh, that would have probably crashed, so it's a respawn. But hard to say. That's probably the most likely explanation, but maybe we'll get some information after the match. Either way, there's still a long journey to go before we're at that point. Pro again leading the charge on this round. This time, everyone's doing pretty well here. We have Sinks in the battle too, trying to push for the win. Would really make good use of those extra points, but unfortunately pushes a bit too much. Is Copro and Wildcard taking the top two here 3 times under 49 seconds. A very, very fast round here. Things, unfortunately, with that crash, has to get another 4th place from that round. And now Copro climbing all the way up to 106 points. The others fairly close to each other, Wildcard and Dunste. Within 5 points from each other. Sinks definitely has the pace, definitely has the skill to catch up as well, but some of those 10-pointers will need to come out of this Norwegian's back pocket. Very close round this time. Copro again with the greatest start though. And Wildcard with a great drift there, getting all the speed in the world. And once surviving the dirt too. Now for the plastic, and this has been a troublesome section for a lot of these players. Very tricky to push. Sinks does drop the gear. I think Copro will take this round. Wildcard holds on to the 2nd place, and Sinks will get the 3rd place as Dunste has made a more severe mistake. These rounds are fast, but it is tricky. It is tricky to push for these 48s for sure. Wildcard and Copro are the 2 players who have done so fairly consistently throughout this this day. As we move on to our 2nd rotation now. Copro with a convincing lead and only needs to get a top 3 placement from this 1st round to secure those 120 points and to get that finalist status. Wildcard needs a few more rounds to get there, and Dunste, with that final round on Sala, has dropped a little bit further away. 86 points in the bag. Sinks also needs quite a few round wins, but at the same time, 2 people will walk out of this match with the ticket to Paris. So, all things considered, between Wildcard, Dunste and Sinks, it's a fairly even match. Copro, of course, with the advantage, but nothing is decided until someone actually gets that finalist mode win. Here we go. Back to code. Sinks with a great start in the beginning. Good line into the grass as well. Might be able to get a bit more speed into the plastic landing. Pro currently on 3rd place after Dunste goes a little wide there, but for Copro it's important to get the 3rd place. 4th place would not secure the finalist status. At the same time, the others are battling for the other points here. Sinks, Wildcard, looking to potentially get those points, but Wildcard goes too wide, and that should be the points for Copro. Dunste takes the safe finish, but Copro does get the finalist status. The 1st player on the server. Important 10 points for Sinks, getting closer to the others. But now, Copro has time of his life. Well, I don't know. Probably still pretty nervous at this point, but it is at least 3 rounds without anyone contesting this finalist status. So, there's a few chances all alone. Just needs to win the round. 2nd place, not enough. Needs to win the round to secure the Nordic Cup victory. But it's not going to happen on this round. Goes a little too tight. Crashes the inside. This is a chance for the others to get a little bit closer. Sinks again with a lead into this final section here. The ice slide looking strong. Dunste gets it well too, and will secure the second place. Wildcard with the third place, so all the other players getting points, and it's getting closer and closer too. Now Sinks also getting past the 90-point limit, and Wildcard above 100 points. Copro still with at least 2 more chances before anyone else has a chance to snipe the victory. Of course, there's something about being able to call yourself the Nordic Cup champion too, not just about getting the top 2 from this match and the grand prize, but also the prestige that comes with being able to beat all the players in this match, really pushing it close there, but it does work out. Every single player within 700ths of a second going into the 30-second mark on this map. And now Copro, just the ending is remaining here. Sinks 300s away, but Copro could be able to push this. Who's going to get the better ending? Copro really pushing it, pushes the speed, goes inside. Is it enough? Copro will take the title of the Nordic Cup champion here, will be able to clutch in the ending on Code, and the others will have to battle for the second place. But the top one goes to Sweden. We're still going to continue. I'm still going so close to the side there. But Copro will be going to Paris. Now it's just about who joins him. An incredible performance by all players so far in this tournament. But of course only 2 can be the prize receivers. That's how the format works. Wildcard, currently with a convincing lead, Sinks a little bit too close to the edge. Wildcard will end up securing this round too. Sinks should be able to finish at least, and when there's only 3 players remaining... Oh, not the whole... Oh, okay, nice. Well done. We've seen some players fall into that, so it's a bit dangerous. I forgot what I was saying. But, not like it matters much. We're going into Metronome again. No finalists so far. Wildcard only 1 second place away. Oh yeah, what I was about to say is that when there's only 3 players remaining, the points, of course, are a little bit more important. Second place is still worth 6 points, and third place is still worth 4 points. So, it might be more important to not only make sure that you finish the round, but also try to avoid those big mistakes, because the difference between 3rd and 4th place is not that much. It's just 1 point, but starting to be a bit of a difference when it's 2 points, 6 and 4. So we shall see if some mistakes happen here. Again, there's been quite a few crashes that we've seen in the first rotation. Of course, it's a tricky map, hard to get those lines right. Wildcard needs at least a second place on this first round to get final status, so for the others I suppose it's the task to try to deny that. Sinks and Dunste need a little bit more time. Sinks with a really ambitious line there. Does work out though. Still holding on. It was a scary looking line, but well played with those circumstances. Oh, but now slight touch on the checkpoint from Sinks, and that allows Dunste to take the lead. Now Wildcard is on that second place. That would guarantee the final status. We'll have to wait and see if that holds until the finish line. Sinks is pushing, getting a little bit closer. Wildcard just seem to hold the second place, and that will be final status for the other Swede. Dunste getting to 115 points himself, so one more round would secure final status too. Sinks, of course, probably just wants to wants to start winning these rounds to have some hope of climbing to the second place in this match. And the start is good. There's a mistake from Dunste. So now it's all about Wildcard and Sinks. Wildcard so far so good. A 10th away from Sinks. A 10th away from the trip to Paris. Now going a little too wide, pushing a little bit too much, has to full respawn this. Of course it doesn't matter too much when you're already finalist status, you don't really benefit much from finishing the round. But it does look like Sinks will be able to get this first place, and even more importantly, after that initial mistake, Dunste will be able to get the finalist status too. 6 points in the bag. Sinks would be 1 round win away from a triple finalist situation. Dunste, Wildcard, and Sinks. Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. This could be either the last round or the second last round of the tournament. Gonna be one of the two. So far, everyone's driving very, very nicely, and you know that like one mistake can cost you so much at this point. Now it's all about the small moments that happen during this round. That small miscalculation that costs you the tournament win. Or second place, rather. Wildcard doing well so far, gets a great line, but others might be catching up with a little bit more speed into this. Now it's all about the ending. Dunste pretty close, gets a much tighter line here. Who's going to push for the win? I think it's going to be Wildcard. Gets the ending nicely, and Wildcard will be able to clutch the second place for Sweden as well. Sinks just about getting to the 120 points. So huge, huge effort from both of those players. Fantastic performance from Sweden, of course. They do take the top 2 placements. And we have concluded the Nordic Cup 2024. Of course, huge, huge respect also to Sinks and Dunste for putting on the show. I think everyone played really nicely under the pressure here. It is tough. It is tough to get those consistent rounds here. And huge effort from all the 4 players. Again, our Nordic Cup winner is Copro. Second place, Wildcard. The 2 Swedes taking it home this time. And then Sinks and Dunste on the shared 3rd place there at the end. Unfortunately, do not quite land on the prizes, but a huge, huge performance from them either way. The Swedes are going to France, and I hope they enjoy their trip. But yeah, we are done with our Nordic Cup. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much all the players as well. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, this is the first in these 3 years, the first time Swedes place in the top 2, and they got 2 of them in the same time, so worked great. All right, fantastic. Thank you all the mappers as well. Doogie, Kola, Done, very much appreciate your effort too. It was a fun map pack. And thank you, of course, also French Institute Français for enabling this this tournament. It would not be possible at all without their support. So much appreciate their involvement in this tournament. If you want to check out what the French institutes have to offer in your country. They probably have a French institute in your country. You can find their website very easily with Google. All of the countries have a different website, so you'll find in what's happening in your specific country when you look at the local website. But yeah, absolutely wonderful tournament. Okay, we are going to continue the stream, but I will take a small break. So I'll be back in probably like 5 minutes, and then we will continue. But if you were here just for the Nordic Cup, much appreciate you tuning in. Thank you, Sacred, for gifting a sub a while ago. Mailamo for the 42 months. Sucker for the 100 bits. Holiday for the tier 1 as well for 6 months. Much appreciate all of you. And yeah, we're gonna be back in just a moment. And we will continue with some campaign building. I have a campaign coming out tomorrow, and I have still a lot of work to do, so we're gonna get into that. Setting some author times and some final polishing as well. Not that hard to set those author times, because they will be much slower than my personal best, but... Okay, if you wanna stay up for that, you're more than welcome to do so, of course, but I'll be back in just a few minutes.